Siemanko kochani, z tej strony Płotka, my wracamy do Technomancera i teraz sobie pogadamy z Amelią.
Hi Zach, how are you?
Hello, Amelia. I'm fine, thanks.
What's good, Zachariah? Got my parts yet?
Keep your pants on. Still working.
No przecież mam część, aha. A ciekawe, jej nie można było zapytać o towarzyszy, no nic.
What do you think of Phobos?
I don't really know what to think of him. He must have had a horrible life. He's a mutant, and we all know how they are treated. And you know, that liberation story, that mutant nation thing and all? He's very smart, however. I sometimes even have the feeling that he can guess what we're thinking.
What do you think of Nisha?
She's stuck up. She was pretending to be a princess in Ophir. Here, she's the boss. Like, I've got a lot of experience, and you don't know anything. Pisses me off. And she seems to forget that she wouldn't have gotten out of...
What do you think of Andrew?
Besides the fact that he still has to fucking square it with abundance, he isn't too bad. Street smart, and his being a smuggler gives him an edge. But he isn't into me, and I'm not into pining over a guy who doesn't bother to look at me anyway.
Ciekawe.
What do you think of Scott? You know him well.
Know him well? That's an exaggeration. He doesn't actually say much about himself. Most of the time, he's on his own planet. Before he gets back down to Mars, well, we lose radio communication. He's nice. He regularly checks in to see how I am. He used to bring me gifts when I was young, but he can't help commenting on... I like him, but he's not my father, I mean.
Tell me more about you growing up.
What's there to say? I was a ward of the state in Abundance's centers. It was lonely and, you know, the other kids were assholes, but I gotta tell you, those times my dad returned from his missions.
Wait, what? I thought the reason you'd been...
Who the hell told you that? No, I was real young when they took me away. My parents were always off on missions and someone had to take care of me, you know? I don't even remember living with them.
Sure, sorry. Yeah, of course. Besides your rovers, what else makes you happy here, Amelia?
Nature. Not the bugs or animals and stuff, but the landscapes, you know? Sunsets, mountains scraping the sky, red water trickling down the hills in the spring, gray lichen floating. Back in Ophir, I used to take the rover out before sunrise just to take it all in. Always managed to put things in perspective, you know?
Amelia the poet philosopher. Who'd have thought it?
Why you gotta be a smartass?
Aha, I'm not. I was being... Just never saw that side of you. The passion.
Well, let's go together. I've always wanted to share it with someone.
Okej. Ale widzę, że tam nam spadło, jak zapytaliśmy
Are
tych
you
rodziców.
seeing anyone at the moment?
What, you mean a boyfriend? No, not right now.
I mean...
Look at your face! You can't even come up with something to say. Listen, you don't look half bad, soldier. Won't take too much for me to cuddle up with you at night.
Wow, dzięki. Okej, to sobie pogadaliśmy. Teraz czas na Phobosa.
Hello, Phobos.
Hello, Zachariah. What can I do for you?
Pytaj o niego samego.
What really happened with your mother? I must say I didn't understand much. That stone?
My mother was helping me as much as she could to carry out my mission. She would provide me with information, sometimes hide mutants on the run before they could leave the city. She was a one. Fiorello heard and raced to get me out with your aid. Though how I yearned to save her, to get to the slums to warn her. But I knew I could not. You, though, could. The stone, she knew what it meant. If she was turned in, she had to leave as soon as possible. And if she couldn't, the drawing was made with an...
But why give her that poison?
I didn't want her to die, Zach. I loved my mother. But I knew what the ASC would do to her in their jail.
Słabo.
When did you discover that you were a mutant?
The first symptoms of mutation appeared when I was very young. I must say that I can't really remember very well. My mother noticed them, and she taught me how to hide the marks, even though she was hoping to keep me close to her. But as soon as the first marks appeared on my face, they spotted me out right away. I will never forget my arrest, how violent they were toward my mother. I was sent to one of the farms on the outskirts of town. That's where I learned what it meant.
What's the mutant nation?
Zazdroszczę.
You created it, right?
It is a little overblown, but I was one of its founders, among many others. Of course, other mutants were living outside the city as runaway slaves, hidden here and there. A small community had settled in Noctis and benefited from the hospitality of the merchants, who allowed them to move around freely. However, we did not have any way to defend ourselves or plan a future. We were all spread out. A few of us decided to get together. We found a place, a very unique one, and we soon started doing it up, bringing in equipment and erecting houses. As for me, I especially wanted to free as many brothers and sisters as possible. So I went back to Ophir, and I realized that nobody cared about mutants, especially if they didn't look very smart. And our nation soon began to grow. There are a lot of us now, and I hope that all mutants will be able to live there someday.
Okej, sobie pogadaliśmy. Teraz chodźmy do Andrew i później pogadamy ze Scottem.
Hey, there you are. Your meeting go well.
As well as hoped. Thanks.
Then let's get down to business. You know who I am. You know my past. You know what little I have left. What are you gonna do about it now is the question. You gonna use what you can against me? Or let me carry on with the small life I've managed to build?
To się weź z Andrew.
I want to help you. What can I do?
Some things can't be healed, Rogue. Like that scar across your face. I'm guessing you got it the day I lost everything. And was reduced to a sad, broken, armless shadow of what I might have been.
Some things can't be healed, but most can be mended, friend. Let me ask around. It might be a long shot, but maybe you'll find a new reason to call yourself lucky again. We'll find someone who can lead you back to your gifts. I promise.
I may be bitter, but I'm no less grateful. Thank you, Zachariah. A little show of kindness goes a long
Czyli on
way.
jest tym technomantą, ale nie ma tej mocy. No, to ciekawe. Dobra, to wiecie co? Wywalimy niszę i weźmiemy tego Andrew. W ten sposób on odzyska swoje moce.
Hey. Hit it.
Możemy z nim dalej pogadać? Możemy.
What happened that day?
I had a surge. A big one. One even the Masters never saw coming, literally. Before they even knew what was happening, I electrified everyone and everything around me. It screamed like thunder from... I woke up in the infirmary without an arm, surrounded by all those powerful Masters who stood there shaken, whispering. Their eyes still...
Aha, fajnie, czyli go po prostu wywalili. O, super. 10 na 10. I
Why aren't you
jego
with your
rodzina.
family?
Right. My family. They were small-time merchants. I'm sure real proud their son was gifted with technomancy and was joining the school. They were also scared as shit of... Not that I'm sure any of the Masters even asked them to take me back. It was more important to them that I disappear for good. To hide what happened. Keep the illusion... Also, to hide the fact they had people among them who had the power to take down entire buildings. No, I had to go.
And you never tried to reconnect with them? Even after you got free?
No, I looked for him. Even tracked down my father. He was just this old man. Didn't even recognize me. And if he did, he'd a crippled outcast. Not something you'd put your pride in. So I let it...
What about your gift? I thought people died if they didn't use their fluid.
It's a myth. There are rogue technomancers out there. Not a lot, but a few. They know how to control their fluid surges. Probably the only thing that piece of shit Marcello could take credit for. He introduced me to one of those guys, and after that, I learned to control it the hard way. The irony, no? I'll never be a technomancer now, but I control the fluid better than any of Abundance's masters. Not for power, just to make sure my own brain doesn't fry.
What have you been up to since you left?
What have I done? Well, after spending 10 years of my life as a slave trying to pay that piece of shit Marcello back for what he called my debts, traveled in his luggage hold, did his dirty jobs. Whatever he needed to get his business going. Carried crates, drove sand sales, shoveled sand, ran errands, but mostly, he just picked his customers' pockets. I traveled a lot, though, if I'm going to find any silver lining in it, and I've earned my damn place here in Noctis. Even if the price of that has been rarely sleeping in a real bed or reading a book that wasn't about accounting.
Should have remembered you. Back when we were kids, the world just revolved around you.
Really? How so?
Opowiedz o jego uroku.
You ever even know the influence you had? How much the other kids tried to be you? How much I did?
The influence was just an illusion. Just a... I don't like remembering myself like that. Even if it's right. I feel like I was just another manipulator, though. Manipulating people to get what I wanted out of them. To let them get what they wanted out of me. All just a ton.
Okej. I jeszcze pogadamy ze Scottem. Też nie wiem, czy z nim będzie można pogadać.
What do you think about Andrew? He comes from Ophir like you, and he could have become a tech...
I remember, yes. You know that I was the one who had spotted his abilities and had taken him to school, as I did for you? I thought that he was dead. That's what I was told, that he...
Yes, but he lost an arm during the accident.
How so? That's ridiculous. Technomancy has nothing to do with arms. It is... Yes, I think that with... Yes, that's it. With a full Technomancer kit, I would have the parts needed to create a bypass on a classic prosthesis.
Your notes?
I studied Technomancy as well. Anyway, from a scientific standpoint, obviously. I have never thrown lightning bolts, and I can't do it physically.
Scott, you study?
Yes, and I had conducted in-depth research on the way in which your neural network expressed its static charge throughout your equipment. But all this is old. I won't have any trouble helping that boy if you bring me my notes and the equipment.
No. Thank you, Scott. I'm gonna try to bring all that back.
No, fajnie. Czyli wydaje mi się, że uda nam się mu pomóc. Gdzie mamy teraz iść? Chyba w dół, ale wydaje mi się, że chyba tędy damy radę zejść w dół, czy nie? Tak. Z tym Andrew też możemy wejść w romans, ale myślę, że nie będę się bawiła w homoseksualne romanse. Chociaż jest całkiem uroczy. Okej. Czy mamy tu z kimś porozmawiać? Czy ktoś będzie chciał z nami gadać, czy może niekoniecznie? Cześć. Może ty? A. Nie chce z nami rozmawiać. Dlaczegoż? Nie, bo tu chyba mamy sprawdzić tam jakiś ten wypadek, czy coś tam. Tylko nie wiem, z kim tu porozmawiać. Tu są jacyś ludzie. Z tobą? O.
Welcome, welcome. What?
Did you hear about that mutant who got lynched?
I see. But why do you think I would?
You know what goes on in that neighborhood like any merchant should. And you don't think that this kind of story is bad for business? The mutants are furious.
You're not wrong. I guess that we'd better turn in the culprits and be done with it. The gang of fanatics from the temple that lynched that poor guy. It's awful.
Why didn't you do anything then?
It was an angry crowd. I mean...
A spine like a jellyfish, but it walks like a human.
Okej. Dobra, w takim razie chodźmy. Teraz będziemy musieli iść na górę, więc chyba musimy wejść tutaj z powrotem. Pójdziemy pogadać z tymi fanatykami. Nie wiem, czy to ten sam koleś, co był ten od... jak to się nazywa? On wtedy od tej zupy, co tych ludzi truł czymś? Jestem ciekawy.
Gentlemen, you
Cześć,
are
pojebem.
responsible for an awful crime. It's pointless to try to deny it. Several witnesses saw you. You didn't e-
We didn't have to hide. We're carrying out a divine mission, and nobody will prevent it.
Ech, o Andrew, jak jesteś cieniec, sorry.
Stop! By the shadow! Stop! Yes. Yes! We killed the soulless mutant. But who cares? They gave their souls to the...
Whatever your superstitions, over here, mutants are free. And believe me, when they learn that you're behind all this,
No! No! I beseech you, don't tell them! Think about the turmoil it will create in the city, the riots.
Nie, na pewno nie będziemy stawać po stronie tych czubków. I na nich doniesiemy. Choć brzmi to tak nieładnie.
Sorry, pal, can't go through. Priest ordered us to let no one through. No one includes you.
Okej, cokolwiek. Dobra, czekajcie, gdzie muszę pójść? No dobrze, idziemy. Coś się zamotałam znowuż. Nie ma tu zejścia w dół gdzieś? Tu jest zejście w dół, okej. Nie no, nie będziemy na nikogo winy zwalać, zrzucać, bo bez sensu to jest. Nie wiem, czy taki chaos nastanie, bo raczej tych wyznawców cienia nie ma zbyt wielu tutaj w Noctis. Okej, zapiszmy sobie grę.
Hey there.
What do you want, you?
Regarding the investigation you asked me to do.
Did you find anything? Who killed our brother?
The eyewitness testimony is clear, and they've even confessed. It's the
Assholes! I knew it.
Okej. A, tam niech się na nim mszczą. Zresztą nie wiem, czy jakbym wybrał tam odpowiedź, żeby nie szukali zemsty, czy coś takiego, to... Czy to by było... W sensie, czy wyznałabym wtedy prawdę, tak, że za całym tym syfem stoją właśnie ci fanatycy, czy po prostu bym powiedział, o, w sumie to, wiecie, miejcie to w dupie, bo to jest nieistotne. No nie o to chodzi. Dobra, ja wrócę jeszcze na górę i się prześpię. I wtedy ruszymy z powrotem do Ofirów. No i przy okazji oddamy ten quest. Ten quest związany z tym ruchem oporu, to miałam powiedzieć. Dobra. Ja chciałam tutaj Andrew. Stalowego muta nie może, bo ma za mało siły. Ale może sobie używać to, więc to zaraz mu zmienimy. Tu ma 14, czyli to w sumie jest spoko. Spodnie najeźdźcy i to możemy mu zmienić na albo spodnie robotnika, albo mundurowe spodnie żołnierza. I chyba zmieniłem mu na te spodnie żołnierza. Albo to nagolennik, odporność na truciznę. Robotnika. Nie, myślę, że to mu założymy. Zobaczymy, czy będziemy mogli je ulepszyć. Niestety nie możemy je ulepszyć, ale to nic, i tak mu je zmienimy. No, buty ma te, co mają wszyscy. Dobra. Amelia, to tam nic nie zmieniamy. Tak. Spodnie mu założymy. Dobra, założymy mu tak. I w sumie wszystko, nie? Bo on chyba nic więcej nosić nie może. Nie no, mundur ma spokój, mundur akurat jest ok. Dobra. Dobra, dzieci kochane, ruszamy dalej. Nie tędy. Aha, i zaraz Andrew zaznaczymy ten, co on ma robić, jeśli chodzi tu o walkę. Chyba tu się zaznaczało, nie? Tak. Amelia ma to, a on ma premię do obrony, karę do ataku, premię do ataku, dobra. O. Dobra, w takim razie ruszamy. Ruszamy do Ofiru. Dobrze, tutaj chociaż jest szybka podróż. Fajną fryzurę ma Andrew. Okej. Dobra, lecimy. W sumie widzę, że mamy wiele dróg, którymi możemy pójść. A nie ma tutaj jakiejś z boku? Chyba jest, nie? No to najlepiej najkrótszą drogę wybrać, żebyśmy już za dużo tam się nie przemieszczali. Oj, to jest na górze. Będzie jakieś wejście tu na górę. Jakaś drabinka. A nie, tu jest winda. No, tu się. Okej. Czy my musimy... Spójrzmy na mapę, czy musimy iść na giełdę? Tak. Musimy iść na giełdę. Czyli tu. My chyba wyjedziemy tam, gdzie stoją ci żołnierze obok, tak mi się wydaje, bo chyba więcej nie ma... Więcej chyba nie ma wind, że tak powiem, na terenie miasta. Tak, miałam rację. No, znowu to zaczyna się przycinać. Okej, ja sobie sprawdzę. Dobra, pójdziemy cały czas prosto. I sobie wejdziemy tutaj bokiem po prostu. Tutaj ała. Dobrze, moi drodzy. Poszło nam całkiem ok. Zbierajmy lód, standardowo. Ale mówię, ten Andrew jest taki, no... Też trzeba brać pod uwagę to, że on jednak ma tą jedną rękę, więc też będzie słabszy, ale mam nadzieję, że jak mu załatwimy tą protezę, to stanie na wysokości zadania. Jestem tylko ciekawa, czy będzie walczył też takim stylem jak my, czy może będzie wojownikiem, bo w sumie wojownik by się przydał z tym kosturem. Dobra. Dobranoc. No i wtedy jak on odzyska te moce, to podejrzewam, że będziemy mogli dzięki temu otworzyć tam te drzwi, które są w magazynie. W tych... no... Znaczy w magazynie, w tych kanałach, o, to chciałam powiedzieć. Idź no. Stoisz jak palma wentylowa. No nie wiem, co tam znowu zaczęło się przycinać. Tak wcześniej ładnie chodziło płynnie, a teraz znowu coś się pieprzy. Dobra, chodźmy tu. No człowieku.
Old notes. He may have hidden them before.
Scientist.
Niestety nie czytałam tego, co oni mówili. Tutaj, na dole. Mamy też takie urywki z rozmowami, to mógłbym sobie... Kurde, może... Mógłbym sobie włączać po walce, a nie w trakcie. No, Andrew z tą jedną ręką niestety jest dosyć słaby. Widzicie, ile życia stracił w porównaniu z Amelią. Czy mało brakowało, aby padł. Okej, wchodzimy tutaj. Widzę, że nikogo nie ma. Musimy znaleźć tylko notatki tego dziadka. Nie, tutaj. Dobra. I w sumie możemy wracać, tak? Bo to chyba wszystko, jeśli chodzi o to zadanie. Tutaj myślę, że to też jest poboczny. Tak, znajdź wyposażenie Technomanty. Dobra, wiecie co? Załatwmy od razu tą podziemną gazetę. Albo nie będą te dwa zaznaczone, te dwa zadania. Tak. Jedno musimy wrócić do tego, a drugie jest tutaj na tej planszy, więc pójdziemy sobie wtedy. Musimy iść na górę. Aha, bo oni są w tym kuriozum, w tej knajpie. Dobra. All right. To wyposażenie Technomanty to w sumie nie wiem, czy będziemy musieli iść tam do tego naszego starego domu, że tak powiem. Zobaczymy. Cześć, mam dla was info.
Hi. Hello there, Mr. Mann. So, what did you learn?
I was able to get some answers for you.
Great. I knew you would. Go on, what...
Keep names out of this. Be clear.
Of course. Our sources are...
According to my source, the Army's reducing its troops by 50%, and the official reasons are the rising rates of desertion, the number of Technomancer arrests.
But she says this doesn't explain everything, as many good officers and soldiers are being let go without reason, and replaced.
In fact, the fear is if the ASC attempted a coup today, the Army couldn't stand in the way, because there are too many ASC entrenched in its...
That's terrifying. And it's news that'll hit the hearts of people in this city. All the people with soldiers and their families, soldiers who fought hard.
Now being fired only to make room for... What else did you find out?
I talked to an expert on corporation politics who had first-hand knowledge about Aurora and us.
And how'd he say Abundance lost?
Aurora's troops were led by a general named Wisdom, who used Technomancers. And apparently they've got a lot more than we do, especially recently.
So Abundance arrests and detains you and your brothers, our greatest weapons, and fall because of it.
But what's more, they rallied the common people, recruited local and national militias who were feverishly motivated by the promise of gaining a voice on Aurora's council. Aurora became the first, so while Aurora brought everyone together for the war, strengthening their numbers, Abundance fought weakened, bleeding their ranks, arresting its own Technomancers. Our army, well-trained and well-equipped as it is, didn't stand a chance. We lacked the Technomancers to lead the charge and the motivation of Aurora's
That's incredible. By giving power to the people, Aurora all but assured its victory. The power of unification is real. And the self-sabotaging...
I also talked to a mutant who heard about the camp breakout and the mutant who led it.
Fantastic. And?
The mutants in that camp were living in hell, day in and day out. They'd finally just had enough. So one day, a guard was beating on a mutant too tired to work. As much as the others pleaded, the guard wouldn't stop. So another mutant stepped in and hit him back. The guards threatened to kill 10 mutants in retaliation. And that lit the fuse. With the help of them, they weren't trying to escape. They just wanted the abuse to stop. But the way the guards reacted made the mutants fear that it would only get worse. So they got out, led by a mutant named Scum. He's now a bit of a legend among them.
And where'd they go?
I can't tell you that.
Fair enough. You need to protect your sources, right? Another story that people need to hear. It's what happens when you mistreat beasts long enough. Eventually. Thanks for all the information. Once I write the articles and get them out there for people to read, I think the people are gonna have a wake-up call about how different the truth is.
Hope it makes a difference.
You and me both. The real change has to start with the truth. Hold on. I've got one more thing to ask of you, if I could. One more thing to really make sure we can ignite some change.
And what's that?
We put our news on the city walls. The man who's been doing it for us lives in the exchange. Getting there, though, has honestly gotten too dangerous for us.
So you want me to be your delivery?
A deliverer of truth. To those who have been starved of it, yes.
Yeah, I can do it for you. I'll see you.
Jezu, uwielbiam, po prostu takie zadania są the best. Szybko napisał swoją drogą te artykuły, tak podczas rozmowy z nami już mu się udało. Wspaniale. Dobra, tak czy siak musimy przejść na giełdę z tego co widzę, więc przejdźmy tam. Będzie najszybciej. Tak mi się wydaje. Dzisiaj jeszcze tutaj strażnicy nie obudzili, więc plus dla nas. Bardzo ładnie. No fajnie, że tutaj za każdą walkę w sumie są te punkty doświadczenia, więc przez to te poziomy tak dosyć sprawnie się wbija. Okej. Dobra, chodźmy w takim razie na dół. Znaczy na dół, na giełdę. I tu chyba na giełdzie będziemy mieli obydwa zadania, mam taką nadzieję. Dalej wczytuj się. Zerknijmy sobie na mapkę. Tak, tu mamy zanieść tego do twórcy, to jest w miarę blisko. A tu jest wyposażenie Technomancer, czyli Tak jak mówiłam, my byśmy musieli wyjść chyba kanałami i przedostać się tutaj. Bo idąc tędy, my tędy nie wejdziemy. Chociaż nie, tędy chyba przyjdziemy. No dobra, ale wpierw i tak pójdziemy tutaj, bo to jest bliżej. Dobrze, moi drodzy, w tym miejscu zakończymy ten odcinek. Mam nadzieję, że Wam się podobał i że spotkamy się niebawem przy okazji kolejnego odcinka. Tak więc trzymajcie się ciepło i do usłyszenia. Na razie.